Yes, people, what's going on? Welcome to Stretford Paddock. I am Adam McKola, back with your daily Manchester United news now. It's a little bit late today, but that has helped us because we have got some breaking news. Unfortunately, it's not good news in relation to Marcus Rashford's injury. He is set to miss the next few games for Manchester United. We've also got updates on that potential takeover of the club, as well as much more to go through in this video, including news that Liverpool are out of the race for Jude Bellingham and Manchester United are potentially in the race for Jude Bellingham. So that is the latest, and we'll be getting stuck into it very soon. Before we do that, can you do me a favor and make sure you're hitting that subscribe button on this video? Please get hitting that subscribe button on Stretford Paddock, so you can get the notifications and everything else for the latest Manchester United content. We've got a big summer coming up for Manchester United as well. Heading to the States, we've saw 2 games already confirmed out there in Las Vegas and of course in San Diego, as Ron Burgundy would say. And we will be out there as well, so you want to be keeping it locked for everything over the next couple of months, the end to the season and of course the summer, where we start to do it all over again. But let's get stuck into this news. Marcus Rashford will be unavailable for Thursday's UEFA Europa League quarter-final game against Sevilla because of a muscle injury. The forward was withdrawn in the 80th minute of Saturday's 2-0 Premier League win over Everton at Old Trafford and immediately headed to the dressing room for treatment. Subsequent assessment of the injury suggested that Marcus will be unavailable for a few games, but is expected to be back for the season running. The England international's absences is a disappointment given his red-hot form this season with 28 goals in all competitions, but there will also be relief about the prospect of his return for important games in the final weeks. The manager said, "We have many more players across the squad who can score." He says, "I think we have players like Bruno, like Jadon, like Anthony Martial, Scott, like Anthony. We have enough players with capabilities to score goals, definitely." Now, the last thing we would want is another injury to Anthony Martial or anything like that. And it looks like we will be without Marcus Rashford for the game against Sevilla, for the game against Forest at the weekend, and potentially the second leg as well. Now, if we can get him back for that cup semi-final against Brighton, I think that would be huge. Huge for Manchester United season. That's going to be a very difficult game. I'm worried about that one. And if we can get through the next couple of games without him, then it shows that your squad's doing okay as well. That return of Anthony Martial, massive for Manchester United. But we get Martial back, we get Casemiro back from suspension, we get Eriksen back from injury, and we pick up another injury. It's kind of been the way things have gone. Erik ten Hag has hardly had a full squad to pick from this season. I think it's happened on once or twice. It hasn't happened many occasions. So it's disappointing that Marcus Rashford's injured. But at this stage of the season in April, a muscle injury could be a lot worse. It could rule you out for the rest of the campaign. And touch wood, fingers crossed, he'll be back very soon to hopefully push himself above 30 goals and help Manchester United complete a cup treble. Obviously more pressure on those players such as Anthony Martial, Jadon Sancho, Anthony now, and those guys have to step up and have to perform, and it'll be interesting how we line up. Obviously Martial, since his return, has been used sparingly and off the bench, and the manager's kind of built him up slowly, so it'd be interesting to see if he does start or if he starts with Wout Weghorst and then goes with maybe Sancho and Anthony either side of him, with Martial to come off the bench. I'd like to say start Anthony Martial, but can he complete 90 minutes? I think that remains to be seen, and maybe you just bring him off the bench at half time or something like that. But that's where we are with Marcus Rashford's injury. Obviously not ideal for Manchester United, but could have been worse with the stage of the season we are at now. We hear stories relating to Jude Bellingham's future, and Liverpool have conceded defeat in the battle to sign Jude Bellingham. Now, to be fair, about a month ago on the club, I told everybody that there's no chance that he goes to Liverpool unless they're getting him for free, because they can't afford his transfer fee. They definitely won't be able to afford his wages. Now, wages is something a player can take a hit on and agree to take less of. But the transfer fee, and when you got Manchester City, Real Madrid and all these teams potentially knocking about, there's no chance you're going to be able to compete. So we heard on Tuesday night, Liverpool sprang a major surprise on Tuesday when they pulled out of the race to sign their top transfer target, Jude Bellingham, this summer. Now, it could be games. They may still be in for him and all that kind of stuff. But I can't see how it happens. I genuinely can't see how that happens. Then we hear a little bit later from the MEN that Ten Hag's admiration for Jude Bellingham during the World Cup was so great, he told Confidence if he could sign any player in the world, it would be him. Now, I think Jude Bellingham's a fantastic talent. I think people have been going a bit crazy with the hype. You know, whenever I think someone called him Brian Robson the last game he had in an England shirt, and I thought, come on, calm down. I was watching the game, and you know, the performance never struck me as one of those ones. So I think some of the hype around him is uncalled for, but I do think he's a fantastic talent. You know, he's a really good midfield player. He's going to cost you a lot of money, though, and that's why I've said before, I'd rather maybe focus on someone like a Frankie de Jong, as someone like that, where Barcelona are probably going to be in a position where they're more forced to sell him. He's a player that the manager gets and the manager knows, and he'll know the manager's tactics as well. And I think just with that experience that he comes in with, I think it'd be huge. United signing another player for 100 million, plus figure, and you bring them in, an English player, all the media is going to get hyped on it. It's just going to look, Man United players get hyped anyway. We look what they do to Anthony and all that when he doesn't score a goal or whatever. And you could only imagine the fuss that Jude Bellingham to Man United would create. Now, obviously, under Ten Hag, we look like a club that would be able to handle that. But I don't know, I just think there's probably a few more safer options in terms of transfers, and maybe not being safe's the way to go. Although, are we even going to be able to do any business in the summer? Because as far as it stands, we're now going through a third round of bidding for the potential sale of Man United. This was confirmed by the BBC as well. Now, we expect the Qatari banker Sheikh Jassim and Ineos owner Sir Jan Ratcliffe will both still be in the mix, trying to get Manchester United and trying to get their third bid through. But we are going to another round of bids. These bids have a deadline of the end of April, 28th of April, I think it was, which now means if any buyer buys Man United, it's probably not going to be to the end of May if they accept a bid after the third round of bidding. Then you're looking going into the summer. Manchester United's summer transfers are then going to be impacted by the fact that our ownership isn't in place yet. Again, the Glazers impacting the performance of the club on the pitch. The Glazer family who bought the club for the Americans have established a valuation of $5-6 billion for United. The second stage ended last month with uncertainty over whether the process has reached the point of exclusivity being granted. It is understood the Glazer family, who said they were considering selling to explore strategic alternatives, had now opted to extend the process. I'm sure that does probably mean they're looking to sell now. You don't extend the process if you're not, surely. This means potential purchasers either of the whole club or just a partial stake. An option must be put offers forward in the hope of concluding a deal. They just want that 5.56 billion figure, don't they? But we go to another round of bidding anyway. Hopefully we'll see the back of them very, very soon. But anyway, Jude Bellingham, Marcus Rashford, the Glazers selling the club. Let us know all your thoughts on everything involved there. Make sure you're keeping it locked to Stretford Paddock. Anything else to discuss? We got the game coming up tomorrow as well, so we'll have reaction from Old Trafford and all those kind of things. And yeah, thank you for tuning in. Keep it locked, and I'll see you later.